Hang on.
Turn it round. Obviously don't know.
Orientation is locked. Is it the lock on the screen?
No.
Good job.
Stop, turn your phone around.
Orientation is locked. On the screen.
Oh no, hang on. Turn it around. Turn it back around.
Orientation is locked. It's on my device, isn't it?
No, just turn it around. You just have to cope with it. It's showing like, look, it's doing. I don't know. It's being filmed. So just have to put up with it.
Okay, just keep it up. Sorry, bit of a technical problem there. Look at this crowd. As far as the eye can see. A sea of farmers. Thanks to everyone who's on the live feed. If you couldn't make it today, showing your support on the live feed is hugely appreciated. Support for the backbone of our farmer, says Paul. Charlotte Everett, thank you for your comments. Other industries sending their support for this event. It's not just farmers that are affected. Industries that are supported by farmers really feeling the pain of this. Well, we are here in our numbers today, showing support for saving family farms. Just look at the crowd. I would hazard a guess that there's more than 30,000 farmers here today. Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer said, we'll only be affecting 500 farms. Well, a little bit like Rachel Reeves, we got our numbers wrong today because we're north of 30,000 farmers here today. We have not got this wrong. Save our farms, some of the banners in the crowd. Journalists, every single media agency here, from Europe, the UK, waving flags over there. Kids, families, you name it, they're here. Grandfathers, 3 generations of farmers I interviewed this morning. All here to support their way of life. Just look at it. It's absolutely I can't. Just look all the way back there. It's Henry up on the stage. Cannot believe how many people are here. How many people are here, Henry? How far can you see? Where's the end? Can you see the end? I can't see the end. It's absolutely a vast crowd of people. Massive. Just massive. Just massive. Ken, you need to bring you on the stage. Take your hat off because none of your friends will recognise you now.
All my friends, so you want to be. All my friends are in school.
Hold up your t-shirt. Hold up your t-shirt so it's proud do. Some of our team of organisers here. Can you believe this? Right, can you believe this? It's absolutely unbelievable, isn't it?
This is the view now. We'll shut the whole road now.
Team of organisers there, supporters, and our farmers. Look at that crowd. Well, Rachel Reeves, 500 farmers here today. I think, like you, we got our numbers wrong because there must be north of 30,000 farmers in this crowd.
Any other food bank donations? There's another food van down by Parliament Square. So anyone else who's got food to donate, either hold on to it or make your way.
Andrew Ward, busy on his phone, has been for 2 weeks. I don't think his family have seen anything of him. He's been so busy.
We're just getting our first four ready and we're going to make a start.
Banners from the farmers, look. Axe the tax. Storm of the farmer harmer. I've seen that quite a few times this morning. Sending love, said Charlotte Everett. Thank you, Charlotte. I think everybody who values British produced food is in support of these people today. These hard working farmers out in their many thousands to support this cause. Andrew from Suffolk sending his love and support. Amazing. The speakers will be here from maybe 11:30 onwards, I think. Not announced who they are, but we've got some pretty exciting speakers today. Keep watching. We'll be here for the whole event, bringing it live to everyone who couldn't get here today. Another little look at our organisers over here on the stage. We just want to feed you. Journalists down there from all sorts of agencies. Do you want me to hold your phone up here?
I'm happy to take some photos actually. Can you keep it that way or do both ways?
Keep it that way. Just taking some photos for some journalists. Video? One of you? Brilliant. Speakers a little bit later, between 11 and 11:30. So maybe another 20 minutes. As you can imagine, the logistics of this event are absolutely huge. No one expected this sort of crowd. So you'll just have to bear with us a little bit, because moving people around in this size of crowd is proving to be a little bit tricky. Farmers looking in, helping with the food donations to the food. You should be very, very proud of this industry. Just look at the people here. Our farmers down in their banners. Just incredible. Just look at that. The whole of Whitehall completely closed, way past the cenotaph. Goosebumps on my arm, says Paul. You should be here. We're all close to tears on the stage. We just cannot believe the public support. 5 working farmers have managed to pull this off. Farmers are so resourceful. They really are. As if you're a farmer, you'll know. 5 guys who knew nothing about organising a rally. And now look at this. Just an industry that has come together to show their support. I can't stop smiling. I just feel so proud to be here. I'm here with my son, Henry, and Clive, who you all know. And we are just absolutely aghast at the support. You guys are just absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. We love you farmers, says one follower. Good luck farmers, love and respect you all. We need our farms. Tracy Perry, thank you. Supporting UK farmers, Laura, thank you. If you're not here today, then we just cannot thank you enough for your support online, out on the streets, people wearing wellies at school, people going to their everyday jobs wearing their country welly boots. Just in case any politicians are driving on the way to work, have a look at the support we've got, not only here, but out in our communities, in our schools. Rachel Reeves, please look at this crowd. Give support to farmers, and we give support to this country. The economy will be a much lesser place without these guys. They just want to grow food and feed British people and pass their farms on through the generations. There are farmers here who are 5th, 6th generation farmers I've spoken to this morning who are utterly distraught at this new tax proposal. How can this be right? More farmers arriving, I can see right down the bottom there. The police struggling to keep farmers in the designated areas. We have taken the whole of Whitehall here. Little banner there. Food grows on farms. No farmers, no food. Tax war will break up farms. Just look at them. The banners. JCB tractor there, right in the heart of it. Still a little bit rainy, but no dampened spirits here, I can guarantee. Rachel Johnson over there, showing her support. Hiya. Hi, how are you doing? There were tractors driving down Whitehall earlier on. Unfortunately, they just can't get down the road now. The road is completely blocked with farmers. As far as the eye can see, I cannot see the end of this protest. It stretches way past Downing Street. past the cenotaph. This is absolutely unbelievable. Ollie there, I don't think he can even believe it. Honestly. This is incredible. I wish you were here to see this. Just have a look at that. Oh my God, it's absolutely incredible.
Guys, we all right? We okay? Clara, come on our stage.
Richard Smith from Lancashire, thank you so much on the live feed for your support. Amazing. I'm just zipping the other side of the stage now. People standing. Ollie and the other organisers and the speakers will be on stage probably within the next 20 minutes. With a really, really important message to the British government. Organisers over here. Let's have a little wander over here. I don't know. Is he with Mark? Great.
Henry!
Someone saying we are the media. Absolutely right. A really, really nice family feel here today. Kids, toddlers, granddads, grandmas, you name it, they're all here. Peacefully showing their support for British farming.
farmer's square.
Okay.
Farmer's garden. I'm telling you these, Ryan.
Absolutely loads of you on the live feed now. I hope you can get the true feel of what is going on here. This is absolutely incredible.
Just in about 5 minutes we're going to kick off, so if everyone gets comfortable, it's okay.
It's okay, it's not raining or anything, is it?
Our organiser's getting ready to speak on the stage.
Has anyone seen Andrew Ward? Because we've lost him. He might be under a big pile of food.
He's only a little fella. Can you look up at your feet? Look down, please, everybody. He could be anywhere there.
Normally found talking about beans.
Yeah. Do you want a picture? Jump over the back.
Hang on.
Oh, he's here.
I'm here.
He's behind you!
I'm here.
Henry, stand next to Daddy. Not. Give me your t-shirts. Do you want those? Or? Throw these out into the crowd. Martin, hello. What are these t-shirts for? You're not wearing these, are you? No. Throw them out in the crowd. T-shirts. Whee! Oops.
Well, welcome everyone. Before we get going, can everyone take one step backwards? We've just got a little bit of congestion at the front. Amazing, thank you. Now, the numbers have totally exceeded what we actually anticipated. Which unfortunately means we don't think we can march to Parliament Square and back without causing... Don't boo me!
I know we're here.
Yeah, so with the children going to be leading it, what we're going to do is we're going to get the children safely round the back of these buildings to the far end for some photographs, so that people could see what we were trying to achieve here. But the numbers have totally outweighed our expectations.
Thank you very, very much for doing that. It's you that did that. Well done. Thank you so much.
Right, we'll crack on. So, welcome to everyone that's watching. Welcome to everyone that's watching online. A lot of people have had to stay behind to look after animals, so we just them. Thank you to all this team here that's made this happen. Massive thanks to the Met for allowing this to happen and keeping everybody safe. Come on, you can do better than that. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm Ollie Harrison. I'm just an arable farmer from near Liverpool. I never thought one day I'd be stood here talking to so many farmers. My family has farmed in Tarbuck for 175 years, with me being the 5th generation, and James dreaming of being the 6th. He's slightly confused. Good job his hats fell over his eyes. Me and my father and my ancestors have worked tirelessly over them years to build the farm where it is today. But for now, I could be the last generation to produce food on that land. The government has taken the ability away for me to be able to pass the family farm on in a financially stable way for my 3 children. That makes me so angry, and I know I'm not the only one here today. We all know no one owns a farm. We just look after it for the next generation. I'm really sorry, I had to write all this down so I didn't forget it. I don't normally like the scripts. Being dyslexic, I can't read either. This reckless budget has already cost some lives. Given that where we are today, by the war memorials, someone's phone's ringing. Can we please just hold a minute's silence to remember those that aren't with us anymore? And those that fed us during 2 world wars. So we'll just take a moment. Thank you. Now, why do we farm? Why do we accept low prices? Why do we put up with low wages and long hours? Why do we risk the family home every day? Why do we put up with this weather? We actually ordered this today, just so you know, so everyone felt at home. I'll tell you why. We farm for our children. We farm to feed the nation. We farm because it's in our blood. and we farm because we love it. No one does it for the money. There is none. I hope you heard that. Is today the beginning of the end for UK farming? Or is it the beginning of some direct action? To save this farming community we all love, that feeds this nation every day, 365 days a year. Some of you may watch my YouTube videos, and I thank you for that. If you've watched recently, you'd know my dad isn't in the best of health. That is why he couldn't be here today. We really did want to have 3 generations here. It will be hard enough to lose a loved member of my family. It will be even harder to lose a business that me and him have built together through nothing more than a family farm tax and political greed. They think they can replace us with importing food. They can't. Feeding a nation on imported food is a dangerous place to be for any country. Just ask them over there. That's the MOD. They understand the importance in food, in keeping a nation running. Remember as well, for every pound we spend on importing food, we may never see that back in our economy. Think about that, please, Treasury. The government must listen. Do they know what it's like to get up at 4 AM to feed cows and get pooed on? Do they know what it's like to give CPR to a weak lamb? Do they know what it's like to unblock a combine at 2 AM with bleeding hands and knuckles because there's a thistle in it? Do the government even know where food comes from? Today we come together to show the government we will be heard. Let's unite all businesses that rely on farming. Let's unite all businesses that cannot pass their hard work to the next generation because of this appalling budget. We will not be taxed into bankruptcy. We will not be bribed with political rhetoric. Downing Street, if you can hear us, you need to fix this. For the nation, you have to do this to feed the voters that trusted you. You have to do it for our children, and you have to do it for our grandchildren. Thank you.
Wow. Guys, you've travelled in thousands today, so thank you, every single one of you. We had no idea what we started just a week or 10 days ago. You're here to make clear this is an impossible family farm tax. British farmers cannot pay this. Okay, that's better. Yeah. Shall I start again? Yeah.
Closer to your mouth.
Okay. Thank you, every single one of you. You're here to make clear this is an impossible family farm tax for British farmers to pay. I think we're making pretty clear that this doesn't just affect 500 farms. This affects the, 10, 20,000 of you that are here, not counted. More? I can't see the back, so yeah, it's a lot. We're here to demonstrate that the government have just got their numbers wrong on this. Very wrong. To demonstrate that family farms the very foundation of our beautiful British countryside will be lost forever. The investment will disappear, our food security will be threatened, and our environment will undoubtedly suffer. Our countryside will end up being owned by the huge institutional and corporate investors that APR was supposed to stop. I farm the same fields as my grandfather and father did, and I just want my children, Henry, can you say with me today?
Hello.
This is about these guys, it's this generation, it's their opportunity to farm that's been taken away. Bear with me. The tax bill, when my father dies, is just unaffordable. The returns on the capital that we have invested in farming, they just don't provide the kind of income that can cover that 20%. So I'll have to sell. We're here today. We need the politicians to sit down to look again at how can they achieve their aims without engineering this destruction of family farms. We want them to meet with us, actual farmers, sit down with us and let us show them how to fix British farming. And make it great and make it sustainable. Let us show you what the generations of knowledge that should be listened to, understood and supported to help grow both our nation's food and the economy.
Hello everybody, I'm Andrew Ward, I farm in Lincolnshire, and like Ollie as well, I also have a YouTube channel. It's a pity those people behind those gates don't watch it a bit more. Thank you so much for everybody that's coming here today. The view we have from up here is unbelievable, and talking about emotional, I had tears in my eyes when I came up here about half an hour ago. Thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it, but we will support you. The five of us that put this together, we have all had a job to do. My job was to look after the food bank and try to get food brought into London. We have had that in tons, and I mean tons. And the idea was to highlight and bring food. The idea was to show the capital just how much value farmers have to the nation. The food that has been delivered here today from all of you, City Harvest is the food bank that we've been dealing with. One of the biggest food banks in London. They are overwhelmed with it. The produce behind this lorry is absolutely fantastic. We will put some figures out eventually on how much has been donated. But thank you so much for taking the time and the trouble to bring it down on coaches and trains. Absolutely massively appreciated by the people who will be distributed.
Sweet little boy.
We are clapping you, so thank you very much for that. The whole of today is not just about tax, it's about the whole budget. And we cannot let the government carry on with how they're doing it at the minute. And as Ollie said, this is not the end, it is the start of the beginning. As an industry, farming, I think, has the most public support now than we have ever had. We must not let that go. Also, we are being told by the government to eat less meat. Well, they can jog on with that one. And the sooner they realise that farming is the solution and not the problem, the better. And also, we are used to stress, we are used to strains, we are used to dealing with problems. It's normally the weather and it's normally markets, it's not the government. But if they think we're going to back down now, they can think again. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for your support. We really valuably appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you to my four compatriots with James behind the scenes. I'm here to tidy up the remnants. I haven't got a piece of paper. I haven't got a phone. My name's Martin Williams. I come from Herefordshire. I am a third generation farmer and I'm very privileged to be able to stand here in front of you, having been a part of this group that have arranged this. I cannot believe how you have turned out. Thank you so much. We have got people here across the country. The most fantastic thing about this is the unity that's been shown across the whole of this beautiful island we live on and into Northern Ireland. So, for those of you in Ireland, just give them a big cheer that have taken their time to come here. Big cheer for Ireland. A big cheer for Scotland, please, because they're here too. And in particular, our friends in Wales, who have got all sorts of issues with governmental problems. Give them a big cheer, please, for Wales. Come on. I'm going to pinch some of my speech from some greater statesmen than I. Winston Churchill once said that you can't tax your way to prosperity. This government, unfortunately, despite wanting to hit the ground running, I think it tripped at the election, and at the budget it fell and hit its head on the pavement because they are making grave errors in this economy. We need production. We do not need a cost of living crisis based on tax. That is what we have at the moment. We need prosperity in the countryside, in business. Allow us to do our job. I have in Herefordshire around 1,800 to 2,000 farms. In the government's own misguided figures, they're suggesting 500 of those could go to the wall because of this tax. In 4 years, my county is therefore empty. Is that acceptable? Thank you, because it's a beautiful place, Herefordshire. Beautiful. We want to continue farming. We do not want interference from government. We need to be able to work in an environment that allows us to grow. To tax your ambition is a tax to death, and that is really sad. Greta Thunberg, a fantastic little girl, she also, no, leave it, hear me out, we're going to use it because she's great. Greta Thunberg said, shame on you, you're taking away my future. You're taking away our future. That's what the government is doing to us. So in the words of Greta Thunberg, we are able to deliver on environmental, we are able to deliver on nature. That is what the public want. We are in the position to do it. They are taking that opportunity away through budget cuts and through ambition. We need to stand together. We are a fantastic industry. Look at this smile. It is just fantastic to see so many people here. So can we have 3 cheers, please, for British agriculture and business? Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Thank you very much. So, we have today. We have today got a host for the day because
they have worked to gather you all here today. And you've come today to have your voices heard. Well, right over there is 11. And in that building is where they came up with a plan to kill off family farms. and her advisors are probably in there right now. So in a moment, we are going to count you in, and we are going to make them aware that you are here. Now there's lots of children in the audience right now, and you know when your parents tell you to not make too much noise, well in a minute, you can make as much noise as you want. We are all going to let the Chancellor know that farmers will not be silenced. This cheer you are going to give is for your hard work, your long days and even longer nights. This cheer is for your children's legacy. This is a shout out for your parents and their parents before them, who worked so hard to give you a future. And this is for Oliver Harrison's dear friend who didn't make it, and for his family are grieving. We are going to cheer so loudly, you are going to rattle the windows of Downing Street. Now are you ready? 1, 2, 3! Put even more welly into it. British welly. Not those French £400 boots the Honourable Steve Reed wears. Right, let's give it some British welly. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3! Right, well done everybody. I hope that's kept you all a bit warm, because the weather is, well, this is the kind of weather that you're out in every day, feeding people sitting in their cosy offices. So, I'm going to start, we've got a lot of speakers today, so I'm going to get on with it. And right now, we've got the amazing Claire Wise coming on the stage. She's a 5th generation beef sheep farmer from Durham. And we've also got Kate Rock, who's the former chairman of the Tenant Farmers Commission and author of the Rock Report.
My God, there's a lot of you. My name's Claire Wise. I'm a beef, sheep and arable farmer from the north of England, and I am average. And I'm here to show those guys over there and the general public what the real average face of British farming looks like. It's not a £1 million pony paddock. It's 300 acres of average wetland. It's an average damp farmhouse. It's a heck of a big mortgage. And an overdraft that after the 3 worst harvests on record keeps me awake at night. My land might be worth £4 million on paper, but I will never, and I hope I never, see that cash. In fact, last year I struggled to buy school shoes for our children after harvest. Because farmers are asset rich, but we are cash poor. And yet with one tax, based on half a truth, this government seeks to destroy my and your farms forever. But I will not be their statistic. You can listen to my statistics, which you'll share as well. For 5 generations, for 139 years, for 50,375 days, through 2 world wars, through family tragedy, through a COVID epidemic, my family turned up to produce food every single day. Yet this government don't value that. And as my children are young, I have no option to hand my farm over to avoid this tax. Plus, as this budget makes no allowance for sudden death, if I drop down, as minors, they'd have to find hundreds of thousands of pounds on my death. I'm also a sole owner. So these thresholds and reliefs that Rachel Reeves likes to bandy about in the press don't apply to me. No, instead my farm would be taxed without mercy when I die. With current farm income so low, no bank would lend me the money to get my children out of this hole. And even if they did, it would cripple our business and it wouldn't allow reinvestment or progress for over a decade. You name me one other industry or business that gets told not to reinvest for a decade and to still stand and thrive. The only other option we have to sell land to pay the tax is equally devastating. We should not have to keep getting smaller because we cannot produce food doing that. Whichever way you cut this cake, the end, our farm's broken, and we will not tolerate that as our future. So what is my worth, and what do the government need to open their ears to? For every £1 my business pays into the rural economy, it generates 7. Beyond just the food on our farm, I also host hundreds of deprived school children every year who otherwise would not step a foot outside of the town. We provide work placements for young people desperate for a career doing something different and outside. We're animal welfare champions. My father and grandfather built our village hall. We actively manage the landscape for tourists to visit and enjoy. On our farm, I'm part of 2 net zero projects, spearheading the farming as a solution to climate change. And yet the government seems to have totally forgotten the role farmers play preserving and nurturing the environment. Without us, you have wasteland and bracken. With us, you have a thriving natural environment. You have species rich, you have grassland, you have habitats expanded. Every one of us knows those little pockets of nature on our farm that are truly magical. You take us out and put someone faceless in charge of our farm, they don't know what we know, and as a result the environment will suffer. We are irreplaceable as environmental champions, and this act by government to try to destroy us all is tantamount to environmental destruction on a mass scale. And above everything, my worth comes from producing safe, traceable, naturally fed food, a cost that allows everyone to enjoy it. We as farmers are the solution to food poverty, and food poverty shames our nation, and we should be doing everything we can to put that right. So our worth goes beyond the land on which we sit. You destroy me and mine, and you rip the heart out of the countryside, out of the environment, and you force food prices up. So my name is Claire Wise, and I've tried very hard to hold this together for you guys. Today, tomorrow, and for however long it takes to stop this. And that is what the government underestimates. Because I might be an average farmer, but I'm also an extraordinary human, and so is every one of you that's turned out here today. So I'll finish again with the statistics that really matter. 5 generations, 139 years on my farm, 50,375 days. And 3 children who believe in me and you to save their futures. So buckle up, Starmer, because you're not going to win this fight.
Come on!
Hello, guys.
It's come a long way!
Brilliant. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Rock, and I'm really proud to be a tenant farmer. Let's hear it for the tenant farmers out there.
She's gonna rock this place!
2 years ago, I was the author of an independent government review that looked at the future for our tenant farmers. The core message was simple. It focused on landowners and tenant farmers working together to do what every single one of you here do today. Produce food and deliver for nature recovery. Every single one of us here today do those 2 important things. Every single farmer here is a custodian of our land for future generations. I can see all the kids out there. Come on, kids, let's hear it. The future generations. But today, I want to speak about tenant farmers. I farm with my dad, who's 85, in the West Country. And tenant farmers look after 1/3 of England's farmland, but they don't own the land. There are tenant farmers here today who are worried about their futures and the unintended consequences that this budget will have on them. Less than 2 years ago, Keir Starmer, when he was leader of the opposition, told farmers that he understood the challenges to our farm businesses. And he vowed, and I quote him here, to quickly implement a fair deal for tenant farmers building on the work of the Rock Review. That included a reform to inheritance tax that would have encouraged longer-term farm tenancies. Now, I don't imagine for one moment that Rachel Reeves and Steve Reed have really understood the completely devastating impact that their budget measures will have on hard-working, family tenant farmers. I want to concentrate today on 3 measures that I think will have a material impact on our farming future. 1. Changes to de-linked farm payments. 2. Changes to employers' national insurance contributions. And 3. Changes to inheritance tax. First, there are many farmers who are really worried about how they are going to pay their rent. And they're really worried about how they're going to pay their rent because this budget, the de-linked farm payments, have now been capped at £8,000 next year. £8,000.
That should have got a boo.
Secondly, changes to national insurance contributions. It's going to make it really much harder to employ a farm worker and much more expensive. And third, for tenant farmers, the impact of changes to agricultural property relief and business property relief will mean that the tenant farmers face the stark reality that their landlord may well be forced to evict their tenants and sell that land to pay for an inheritance tax bill. There's also real concern concerned that landlords just won't invest in their tenants' farms, simply for fear of increasing their farm value for tax. So the budget changes completely destroy any incentive landlords have to rent out land or to invest in existing tenant land. We need to encourage new entrants into farming. Young farmers, where are you young farmers out there? Forward-thinking farmers. Progressive farmers. And becoming a tenant farmer is often a first step into farming. In one blow, this budget changes will neither fill tax coffers nor incentivise real change for food security and for the environment, supporting resilience in our farming communities. This government needs to think again. It is not too late. Listen to our united farming voice. Support our nation's farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Kate and Claire. Now are you warm enough out there? So now, our next speaker, we've got Baroness Mallalieu. I hope I pronounced that correct. I'm sorry, James was meant to be on here to introduce her. So Baroness, do please come on, take my mic, and give her a loud cheer, everyone, please. She's been on Radio 4, the Today programme this morning, making your case. Come on, give her a cheer!
By the door!
By the door!
By the door!
By the door! So if there's a medic, can make the way down to that door behind that lamppost, that'd be amazing. Have we got one on the way? Pink hat! Yeah, so we're all good now, sorry. Thank you everyone.
I hope I didn't cause that. You've been treated shabbily, and at a time when we all know you've already been hit by costs for almost everything you need to produce food. You've been burdened by petty bureaucracy, which I cannot believe any other industry bears. You've been battered by floods, the complexity over the changes in farm payments, and then the unkindest cut of all, because it strikes this policy not just at you, the farmer, but your family and your home. There are many of us within the Labour Party, you may not believe it, but there are, who see all that. And indeed the poll which came out yesterday showed that cross-party support for you runs right across all the political parties. I'm not going to this out because you're waiting to hear from the people who are at the head of politics. But as things stand, no political party in this country can win a working majority without rural seats. When Tony Blair took office, there were over 100 rural Labour MPs. You may remember that the government launched an attack on the rural way of life then, and that expression which we heard only last week, payback for the miners, was used then too. Sean Major said that the resentment it generated would last a generation. And he was right, because Labour's rural MPs were reduced to just 17, and no Labour government was elected for 14 years. I can't believe that we're making the same mistake again. This is not just a numerical miscalculation, but a serious political one too. This week in the Lords, I spoke against this proposal from the Labour benches, and from every bench in that House, Conservative, Liberal Democrat, cross-benches and even the bishops, speakers condemned this policy. You have the backing of the nation for what you are doing here today. When I was a child, I remember going with some pigs to see Nye Bevan at his farm in Buckinghamshire. Jim Callaghan had a farm. And if you ask the last generation who was the greatest Labour Minister of Agriculture, it would have been Tom Williams, Labour. Governments need goodwill, and this one is going to need your cooperation if it's going to be successful. The choice is theirs. They can continue to insist that they're right and refuse to make any changes and dig that hole deeper and deeper, or they can accept that some parts of this policy were wrong and they can sit down with the farming community and its leaders and put it right. The good government would choose the second. We shall see.
Ladies and gents, I'm James, I'm a farmer. I wake up every day and I'm incredibly proud to say that I'm a farmer. You all stood here should be incredibly proud of who you are and the communities that you represent. And we wanted to bring Anne today because we don't just need each other. There are a select group of people in the House of Commons down the road that need leadership. Anne has just offered us leadership. Mr. Starmer has a massive majority. His MPs need someone to look to that understands that this isn't just about the thousands of people that stood before me. It's about the communities that you live in. It's about the snow that you clear, the parish rooms that you tend to, the hedges that you cut, the ditches that you maintain. This lady understands that. You need to make sure that all of their MPs understand that. So when you leave here, you don't leave and just think our job is done. You leave and you write. You leave and you go to your constituency meeting. You hammer home point after point after point that your placards make. But you do it with the dignity that you farm with every day. You should be proud of who you are. And that is why this lady stands before you. So I would like you all, please, to thank her with an absolute rip-roarer.
Now please help me in welcoming Ed Davey, leader of the Liberal Democrat Party. Now during the election, we got used to seeing him on a canoe, going down a water slide or falling in a lake. But today, he's here to support you. And although it pains me somewhat to say this, his party does now hold a lot of rural seats, and you need their support in Parliament. So please, a loud cheer for Ed Davey.
Thank you, thank you. It is so great to see you all here today, and I am proud to be standing with you. You deserve so much better. The Liberal Democrats will be standing up for farmers because you have really got a case here. This really matters. Hello! You are the ones that put food on the table.
Sorry, it's yours, mate.
Do you need another medic? Yes, okay. Can we get another medic, please? Can we get another medic? Can you see it's over by the statue? I should know who that is. Have we got a Badenoch on their way. Okay. Sorry, we're going to keep these speeches brief. We realise it's cold, a lot of children out there. Ed, back to you.
Well, I hope our friend over there as well, let us give a cheer for them. Because they're part of us, they're part of you. You're putting food on our table to the beating heart of our rural communities. You're the ones caring for our countryside and looking after our precious environment. And it's been so incredibly difficult for farming for so long. You've had to face rising energy bills, rising fertiliser bills, feed bills. Then you've had the botched transition from the basic payment scheme. Then you've had trade deals that prevent you from selling your produce into Europe but allow Australian and New Zealand farmers to undercut you here. And that's all before some of the worst weather and flooding in generations. You have had it hard, and this government doesn't seem to realise that. I've heard this from farmers across the country. You're fed up, and you've been taken for granted for far too long. You thought the last government would look after you, and I'm afraid they didn't. And many farmers voted for change. But you found you've got a government that just isn't listening to you. And that is so wrong. If they understood you, if they understood what you do and how important our economy, our society, our food security, they wouldn't be imposing this outrageous, unfair family far tax. They say, well, many farmers who aren't even earning the minimum wage. Now, you are feeding our families and you're struggling to feed you. That is just so wrong. And this farm tax, if it goes through, it's not just cruel, but it's stupid. It's stupid. Who is going to buy your farms? It'll be the private equity guys, the big corporates. It won't be the young farmers, will it? And they don't get it. For years, DEFRA and the market have been pushing family farms to become bigger and bigger just to remain viable, just so you can afford the investment. And then Treasury turns around, this new government turns around and says it's going to tax you. That is just so wrong. And I'm afraid the future looks even tougher. If they go ahead not just with this tax rise, but removing the support, they're proposing now to cut the basic payment by 76% next year. Slashing payments, putting up taxes, all when you've already had such a hard time. They just don't get it. And you know, they are coming after you when they're leaving those organisations to people who actually could afford to pay in the budget. You know, there are some sectors making huge profits, the social media giants, the online gambling firms, some of the big banks. They're making profits that are eye-watering. But they've left them alone and they've come after you. They just don't get it. And they don't seem to realise that if farmers can't make the sums add up, there won't be food on our tables. They'll be closing down and selling up, and who's going to look after the countryside then? We must get ministers to understand. We must get ministers to listen. You're doing a fantastic job today, and I can tell you that all 72 Liberal Democrat MPs will be pushing this government, not just today, but every day, until they listen, until they understand. We are going to fight for our rural communities. We're going to fight for support for farmers. We're going to fight to stop this family farm tax. I have just one ask of you. I want you to continue to do what you are the best in the world at doing. Producing high quality food for our country. incentivised for far too long to do what you're the best at. So please keep doing it, and we will stand by you every step of the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Big cheer for Kemi. How is everybody? So now we've got Kemi Badenoch. She's the new leader of the Conservative Party. So as I said, you need every single MP's help in Parliament to make sure that finance act doesn't get signed off. So please, give Kemi and Victoria Atkins the loudest cheer you've got.
Literal bag carrier. Don't be told that.
Hello everybody. I'm going to start off with a simple message. This policy is cruel, it is unfair, and it is going to destroy farming as we know it. And that is why we will reverse the family farms tax. I have here with me Victoria Atkins and Robbie Moore. They are the shadow ministers who are watching what the Department for the Environment, Farming and Rural Affairs is doing. They're watching the Treasury. We are the team that are working for you. We know the burden that farmers are carrying. A lot of people think that farming is just a business. It is not just a business. It is a way of life. It is about family. It is about the land. It is about the environment. It is about our food. We cannot survive without you. I want you to know that we have your backs. We are all, and Neil is here too, Neil Hudson. We are all MPs who have rural constituents. We cover the rural communities. We know what farming is like. We understand that you have no certainty. We know that bad weather, bad harvest could put you out of business. We know that you are buffeted every day by what happens all around the world. We know that you need protection. We understand that you have been doing this all your lives, that without you, we cannot eat. We understand the burden that farmers carry, not just for yourself, but for the whole country. We understand how difficult it is when you're negotiating with supermarkets. We understand how difficult it is when you're looking at prices for fertilizer. We know what you are dealing with, and that is why we know how this tax will destroy your way of life, and that is why we are going to reverse it. But I want you all, thank you, I want you all to know this, that farming in this country is absolutely critical for growth. And it is also about the hope that we give to young people. I have a lot of young farmers in my constituency. Victoria, Robbie and Neil do too. We speak to them and they are worried. They don't want to have to pay inheritance tax and be paying off to the Treasury for 20, 30 years before they even start making a profit. They will leave farming, and if we don't have a next generation, there will be no future. So I want to say to all the young farmers out there, to all the young people out there, we are going to look after you. We are going to make sure that you have a future. We are doing this for you. It is not about us. This is about you. This is about making sure that your way of life continues, that our way of life continues. Farming is the backbone of this country. Without it, we cannot survive. We know that we haven't always got it right, but this policy is so obviously unfair, so obviously cruel. We will do everything we can to make sure that in a few years' time, if they do not U-turn now, we will reverse this tax. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Big cheer for Kemi Badenoch. Now, I've heard a rumour that there's a man don't know if he's going to make it on the stage, so could we all give him a big cheer to make sure he does make it onto the stage? Everybody cheer! Right, while we wait for Jeremy to make himself available, I'm now going to have one last speaker. He's called Steve Perez. He is a farmer. He is also a hotelier. And his business is going to be hit hard by this tax. So let's have a big cheer for Steve.
Yeah, like most of you there, I'm also a businessman. I built a successful business out of the back of a van and I employ 400 people. Family farms, family businesses, well, we are all in this together. Family firms employ 4.8 million people in this. 4.8 million family firms and 13 million people are employed in family firms. I just heard the politicians up talking about what they're going to do. What we must do, what you must ask the politicians is we can't just accept we'll reverse APR. We have to think about BPR as well, because that is the thing they're not talking about. So please speak to your politicians and say, will you reverse? Will you pay back any money that we have to pay out? Give it us back, and that will give us security for the future. Our business, we like funds, we can't just sell 20 bedrooms out of one of the hotels. We can't have 20% of our factory cut off. I saw today that the business minister, Jonathan Reynolds, is in India. He's getting a curry and a suntan. He's talking about trade with Russian-loving Indian billionaires. Right? And you know what they're going to do? They're going to buy our businesses, they're going to buy our farms. And they won't pay inheritance tax, and they won't pay capital gains tax. And that is the plan. We have to make sure that we keep our businesses. We borrow our businesses from our children. We have to think about their future. This is a fight we cannot lose. It is for our existence, for the existence of our families, our farms and our firms. And we have to, after today there's going to be a lot of press, but we must keep this fight on. We must not be yesterday's news.
You can do better than that. Right, so apparently we're all overreacting and we should have got some legal advice. Who's spoken to their accountant and who spoke to their solicitor and realised how bad this was? We've got someone coming on stage in a second. He's just trying to get through the crowd now. He's got a few words, but remember, what we were going to do, we were all going to turn around and we were all going to march that way and we were all going to march back and then we were going to do a little bit more on the stage. But there's just too many of us, there's just too many numbers. We've got one speaker that we're trying to get through that crowd, so if you see a lady in a hurry, that's let her through. What we will do though is, we've got, we hope, about 50 pedal tractors down there and about 50 of 60, 80 children. We need that photograph, they are the future. So we will, in a bit, all turn round, but don't move, because you all lots, some more than others. You know who you are. So, who thinks they've travelled the furthest? Who's from the top of Scotland? How did you get to the front? Who's actually just come from London? West Ham. Who actually isn't a farmer but care about where their food comes from? Quite a few actually. They're all at the front as well. Who's come over from Ireland? One. We know there's more of you because we saw the registrations. Come on then, who's come over from Ireland? Oh, there's a few more over there.
Ollie, Jeremy's nearby. Now he's having trouble getting through the crowds out the back. So can we have one more cheer to speed his way to the stage? Are we ready? Shout out for Jeremy! Come on, Jeremy.
He's a bit steady these days.
Definitely giving him 2, Ollie.
Come on, Jezza.
Does anyone know where Tom Rees is? I have a feeling he might be down there with pedal tractors, because we could do with the keys for the scissor lift. If you can hear me down there, Tom, get yourself to the scissor lift.
Right. Now, Jeremy, I hope you don't mind me saying this. Jeremy's had a bit of a bad back recently, so it has actually been a serious deal for him to get here today. Now, remember how loudly you cheered when we were trying to get number 11 to know you were here. I know you've got some horns out there. 1, 2, 3, cheer!
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Ollie. Hello, everybody! You're right, I'm not supposed to be here, I'm not supposed to be talking, but we've got a few things to say, and I'm going to start with a bit of honesty. I lived in London 25, 30 years, and when I was here, like a lot of people who live in cities and go on Twitter, I thought farmers drove around in Range Rovers, moaning, until February, and then you all went skiing. And then about 5 years ago, I started farming. And I've come to understand just how unbelievably difficult it is, and complicated, and dangerous, and cold. Very cold. Even when we're harvesting, it's cold. And it's just the forest of costs that staggered me. £200,000. Somebody needs to turn their mics off. £200,000.
We need a medic.
He's on 4.
Medic.
We need a medic to the right.
We have a medic over to
by the building.
Building doesn't narrow it down, Ollie. I'm going to say
to the right of the stage.
To the north of the stage at 3 o'clock. Okay, so, as we all know, everyone down there, you know a tractor. £200,000 for a medium-sized one. A combine, £500,000. All the equipment costs a fortune. And if you try to price what you're selling to accommodate that, there's just a lot of moaning. You get people saying, well, I shouldn't pay that. I can get a chicken from abroad. Yeah, you can. But it's so full of chlorine, it tastes like a swimming pool with a beak. And then you've got the environmentalists endlessly shouting at you. Oh, you cows. They're altering the composition of the gases in the upper atmosphere, and your fertilizers ruining the trouty freshness of our streams and rivers. I know sometimes you just think, what's the point? You're just trying to make breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it's just this endless whinging and there's no money in it. And the regulations. Some of you down there will know what I'm on about when I say we've got a lot of GS4 this year on the farm. And we were told, oh, the sheep will love that. No, they don't. They're standing looking at it in the same way that a 5-year-old looks at an olive. They don't want to eat it. And so we have all of this complication and all of this cost. And there's very, very little money in it. Very little money, as you know. And then we got the budget. Now I know a lot of people all across the country in all walks of life took a bit of a kick on the shin with that budget. You lot got a knee in the nuts and a light hammer blow to the back of their pickup trucks, double cab pickup trucks. being reclassified as company cars. 211% tax rise there. £50 carbon tax on a bag of fertiliser. The basic farm payments altered in such a way that we're getting a lot less than we thought we were going to get. And then there was the inheritance tax business. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I know you've heard a lot about it today, and I'm not going to dwell on that. I will just say this. Rachel Reeves has told us, what is it, 72%? 72% of farms are going to be unaffected by this. I've just been interviewed by Victoria Derbyshire for Newsnight. Let's see if we can educate her here, if she's still around, Victoria. How many people here, if you'd raise your hands, are from a family farm? I want to see, right. I hope you can see that. I hope we've got our cameras from the show up high to see. That's a lot of hands. Now, keep them up, and I want you to lower them if you think, and you've had time to work this out, you think you're going to be unaffected by the changes to APR and BPR. Put your hands down if you're going to be unaffected. Thank you. My case rests. I want you to see that. She was trotting out. Nobody's affected. Rachel Reeves says so. Since when was the BBC the mouthpiece of this infernal government? I've got to get the brakes on. The trouble is I'm off my tits on codeine and paracetamol up here. I don't know what I'm saying. But I do want to finish, if I may, with a message to the government. I do. Not a shouty one, it's this. For the sake of everybody here, and for all the farmers who are stuck at home today, paralysed by a fog of despair over what's been foisted upon them, I beg of the government to be big, to accept that this was really short notice.
Thank you, Jeremy, as well. And also, last night at the Peppa Pig Awards, won an award, so I think you should all give him a round of applause for that as well. Right, the next speaker is called Laurie. She, I think, is from the Dovecote Park, which is the biggest independent beef. I'll let you do it yourself. Laurie.
Thank you very much. I've been told I'm not allowed to incite violence, but how the effing hell do I stand here and follow that shout? He has done more for the British agriculture in the last 5 years than any individual, any trade body, anybody. So, first of all, thank you to Mr. Clarkson. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I apologise that I am late. I have had hell coming out of North Derbyshire, a bit of snowed in Stockers, but the effing trains did. We've had 3 trains cancelled.
Hey, Jeremy.
I've just gone on
Henry, say hi to Jeremy.
station in front of everybody.
Oh.
And I'm like a demon to get
Really? I've got a picture with you next to him.
So, I feel a little bit like I'm at Young Farmers with my stock judging notes. I've been scribbling things from Newton on the train. And I must apologise, I am not a professional speaker. I am not a politician. But I am 100% through and through a British farmer. And I am part of this fantastic British food business. All of our family are involved in agriculture. My brother and sister, myself, we are 8th generation farmers on a family farm in North Derbyshire in the Peak District. A suckler and sheep livestock farm with our parents. And like all of you here today, we are enormously concerned, will there be a future for any generation? As I put my wellies on this morning, I very fondly thought of some great memories that me and my wellies have had. Usually 3 o'clock in the morning in a pair of pyjamas, stood out in the pissing rain, doing a cesarean on a cow. Hurtling a barbed wire fence trying to turn a pasture over, or collecting young stock off the village cricket field. We've all been there, we all do it. Today, however, when I put my wellies on, I realise quite humbly and seriously this is the most important outing that we've ever had together. Farmers currently own 71% of the British countryside, and have over many years carved this beautiful patchwork of arable, grasslands and moorlands to provide a plethora of great British food to feed our nation. Without this land, farmers quite simply cannot do this. The Labour think we're all multi-land agents. Well, we're not. We're humble, very hard-working, at times below minimum wage, family farms. And today I can see amongst you not only farmers, but the tremendous support from other businesses. There's vets, I can see feed merchants, machinery dealers, livestock auctioneers, and like myself, a food manufacturer. Food and drink is 148 billion for the UK economy. It is the largest in terms of employment and economics. Farmers have also recently been voted a very slim number 2 position to nurses as the most trusted profession. That must tell us something. We are part and vitally part of a community together. My parents, both 76, are full-time farmers and work incredible hours. My day job is to work for the family-owned British business called Dovecot Park. We are the biggest independent beef and venison processor in the UK. And like many of our customers, we are 100% committed to buying British beef. We have no plan B. Without you farmers, we have nothing. We employ over 1,000 people, and we are serviced by hundreds of amazing British farmers. Importing beef is not an option. Globally, there is nowhere close to the standards our farmers produce meat. I've travelled the world, I've tried it. It is the best. Your standards on farm are second to none. The food safety, the provenance, the traceability, and most importantly, for me and our customers, our animal welfare standards are second to none. However, we are enormously concerned by food security. The changes to the IHT and the budget are putting UK food production at significant risk. We're already seeing numbers tightening due to farmers reducing livestock numbers to enter into environmental schemes, diversification into tourism, or simply having to reduce numbers due to the mental and economic pressure and the devastation caused by TB. We don't blame you for not restocking. As an industry, we need 2 million cattle a year to service our customers. Currently, there are only 1.98 million available. Not running out of time to reverse this. The UK, as we all know, is cited to produce beef and lamb. We have fantastic grasslands and natural sustainable resource. Not only can we produce beef and lamb, but all agricultural products. They are the best. Our customers want British products. We service Aldi UK with British Wagyu. We service Burger King, so please go and get yourself a Whopper for your lunch. If you want the best steak in the UK, go to Hawksmoor. And overall, our biggest customer and the most dedicated to British agriculture is Waitrose. For 40 years, they've stood by with a fair and transparent British agricultural policy for 100% British meat, poultry, eggs and dairy. Today we stand together and we encourage the government to rethink these decisions, not just IHT, but first and foremost, to feed our nation. We are the backbone of this nation and we need to keep producing sensibly the best products in the world. Thank you.
Hello again. Right, I've got wet enough so I keep this short.
just a week ago, I sent a WhatsApp message to 3 farming friends who knew this would be where it went. Even more surprising to me, if you told me 2 weeks ago I'd be stood outside Downing Street about to introduce this next speaker. Shout louder.
Ollie on his own. Everyone off the stage.
Hey, this isn't easy. If you told me 2 weeks ago I'd be stood outside Downing Street with tens of thousands of farmers in front of me that we'd arranged to be here, and I'd be announcing this next speaker, I'd be amazed. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it to Henry, because today and his generation is who this is all about. So Henry, who's the next speaker?
Tom Bradshaw.
Thank you very much, everybody, and what an incredible sight this is. I hope that Sir Keir Starmer is looking on for wherever his plane is, and Rachel Reeves can look on and hear what you've all been saying. Our industry, farming, the best and most important industry in this country. It's never stronger than when we speak with one voice. Can I thank the organisers of today's rally, Clive, Ollie, Martin, Wally and James. Can I thank all of you for braving the weather? We never had any doubts that you'd be here. This budget has cut deep, and I think today you can see what this means to the farming industry right the way across the United Kingdom. And I'm proud to be standing here shoulder to shoulder with you, with the other presidents of the farming unions. My message to government today is clear. When you make a promise to farmers, you keep it. I'm the 4th generation of my family farm, with the 5th generation at home. Like so many of you, when I went back to farm, my parents couldn't afford to retire from the farm. They're still in partnership with me today, some 20 years later. I've worked with multiple generations of my farm, just my family, just like many of you out there today have. These multi-generational businesses are special. We can't afford for this government to take us for granted and not respect what we do. Today isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong. It's about policy, not politics. And this policy is simply wrong. So let's call this disastrous policy out for what it is. It's betrayal. It's betrayal based on questionable facts. I've met the Secretary of State. I've sat down with Treasury ministers. I've looked them in the eye again and again, and yet they continue to double down, and they don't believe the impacts this will have on you, your farms, your family, your future. Every penny the Chancellor saves from this tax will come directly from the next generation, having to break up their family farms. Are you proud of that, Chancellor? Across the country, tenant farmers are having sleepless nights. They worry the land will be sold from beneath their feet. That's not a future that anybody can invest in. This policy has far-reaching impacts. It stops you investing in your farms for the future. It cuts off the ability to deliver the food security message that the Prime Minister said is so important. But most importantly, the human impact of this policy is simply unacceptable. Generations that have worked their socks off to produce the food for this country have been cut off at the knees. They have no ability to plan their way through this. Octogenarians and older that have worked their lifetime producing food for the country have had a bitter, bitter blow. The human impact of this policy is simply unacceptable. The Chancellor says, invest, invest, invest. How many of you have got the confidence to invest in your farms for the future? We know many of you are putting off the investments that would deliver the food security they all talk about. They've broken a promise. Steve Reed stood on a platform a year ago, said they would not change agricultural property relief. He reinforced it 2 weeks later, and yet suddenly they've done it in the budget. But this still isn't just about APR and BPR. They are the straw that broke the camel's back. We've had the fertiliser tax, the dramatic cuts to BPS, a double cab pickup tax, the inflationary pressures from the supply chain caused by the national living wage and the national insurance, the damaging budget for food production, and it will drive up inflation at the shelves. Because you lot have nothing left to give. You've been bled dry over years, and they must sort this out. For those of you looking on from afar, that are looking at the farming industry, thinking, how can you try and justify this tax? Those of you that may be struggling to afford the daily shop, we don't want to be here. All we want to do is produce your food. The budget is causing inflationary pressure. It's going to mean retail shelf prices need to go up. It's not us that's doing that. The APR and the BPR change will create more volatility in the supply chain. It doesn't in any way help you. We want to feed you, we want to do it profitably. And I don't think anyone in this audience will have a problem paying any more tax if we make that tax from producing the country's food. But if that tax comes from untimely death or from the elderly, that is simply unacceptable. Before I wrap this up, I just want to give you 2 jobs. The first, excuse me, can I give you 2 jobs, please? Right, can we give you 2 jobs, please? First of all, we know the pressure this is putting on the farming industry. The mental health toll on our industry was already at record levels. I am seriously concerned, as many of you are here, about the impact that this has. It's very far-reaching. When you're back on your farms tomorrow, pick up the phone to a friend, a neighbour, somebody that you haven't seen for a while, or that was a bit below par last time you saw them. Have a yarn. Make sure they're okay. And secondly, please do write to your MP. You may laugh at me, but they are elected to represent you. They must have heard today the impact that this will have on you, your farms, your future, your family. We are fighting for you every single day. You won't give up. We won't give up. The government must change course. They've simply got this policy wrong. At every meeting I go in, whether you're an NFU member or not, I carry you into that room with me, and we will do our best to fight this awful policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Now, the press tried to make it look like there was a divide between us and the NFU. There isn't, because when we all go back to our day jobs, we need these guys behind us. We need them pushing and pushing and pushing. There is no divide. This tax affects every single one of us. When you leave in a bit, I promise we're near the end, I want to make sure that there's not an ounce of litter. We do not want to see a picture in the press that we've dropped litter and we've littered London. So if you see something on the floor, pick it up. We are gutted that we can't march, but it just simply is not safe. There is far too many of us. So at the end, if you're near this stage or past this fast track, try and disperse that way. If you're by that alleyway,